We have sent federal prosecutors last night from my office in DC to Minnesota. They should be landing any moment now. We activated the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office as well. And this has the highest attention of the Attorney General and my Department of Justice team, because it is, as you said in your intro, this isn't actually a question of whether we're going to stand for it. We don't stand for it in this country. And not every case that we do at the DOJ gets the headlines, but we've already prosecuted numerous attacks on churches so far in the last 9 months since I took office under Pam Bondi's leadership. We are investigating multiple attacks on synagogues. It is evil to attack any house of worship in America. It is illegal. And what I saw yesterday made me ashamed, frankly, for the United States, that we have an Attorney General in Minnesota, Keith Ellison, a District Attorney, Mary Moriarty, a Mayor, Jacob Fry, and Tim Waltz, Tampon Tim, who absolutely refuse to enforce our state laws. Their own state laws prohibit this very conduct. Well, if they're not going to enforce their laws, we will enforce our federal laws, and we are already doing that.
Whoa, getting tough with Matt Dillon there.
With Matt Lemon, Don Lemon. But we should be fair and let's hear what Don has to say about this. It's 44 seconds. We can make it. It's not too long.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled, and that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy. And they think that this country was built for them, that it is a Christian country, when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only if you're a Christian and only if you're a white male, pretty much. And so, yeah, absolutely 100%, but it's an intimidation tactic. Yeah. And, I said, I don't understand how I've become the face of it when I was a journalist. I do understand that I'm the biggest name there. Yeah. And I'm also, as I was on with my producers this morning, you and Kylie talk all the time. My producers were saying, I said, how did I become the face of this? And my producer said, Don, you're a gay black man in America.
Right, obviously.
So you got to give the guy credit. He doesn't just hold up a race card. He holds up a gay and a race card at the same time, as the thumbnail showed. Right. You got to have the gay card and the race card. And he's holding up as a banner while they are pursuing, and I love the irony of the Klan Act. There is nothing sweeter in the world, and it's perfectly on point too, because in the South, in the 50s, 60s, even before, you had technically white supremacists going into black churches, harassing the hell out of people. Flip the race. What do we have here?
Well, it was white people hassling white people, though.
Well, it was Black Lives Matter was in the mix as well. Yeah, it was.
I didn't know that.
No. They got together on it, but the point is,
Black Lives Matter was in there.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're looking for some cause too.
No, I didn't know they even had a branch in Minnesota. I guess that's an outpost they have.
Of course they do. Yeah.
Okay. I haven't heard from them in a while, but
remember Summer of Love. A lot of that was Minnesota burning.
Right. No, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. I thought they were laying low, though. I thought they took the money and ran. You're saying that they're still fighting the good fight.
Yeah, a different fight, which is interesting, because I do think about it. I'm like, well, wait a minute here. If it's only Black lives that matter, it's got to be very confusing. Which way to go and what to do now?
Argument, but we'll see what she does. I mean, there's been 95% of what Harmeet Dillon was talking about were attacks on synagogues. She has prosecuted absolutely no one under the FACE Act. So when I see it, I'll believe it.
Okay, well,
95% of all the attacks in the country in the past year have been on synagogues. Not one person has been charged with a federal crime.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I mean, she just stated that there were people, arrested.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that case. I'd like to see that case.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, because now you're saying that she's lying, essentially, or not being truthful. So, all right. Well, let's see. You asked me to have this one at the ready, and this is Mark Halpern.
What's he got? What's he up to?
Well, you sent it to me, but it's talking about Pope.
Oh, right. Weird.
So you want to ask a question, and let's see.
including Republican members of Congress, some publicly, some privately, think that this images coming out of Minnesota are bad politics. There's plenty happening that they think is good politics, and they're happy to have the fight. On the other hand, lots of Republicans are now saying, some to me, they say, Mark, do you think the polls are right? These polls can't be right. They're looking for all these excuses to deny poll after poll, including more over the weekend, that show the shooting is people are upset about the shooting, and people are very unhappy with ICE, and people believe consistently that ICE is not making people safer. Here's the headline from the Washington Post. And again, folks, if you're on the left, on the right, and you want to say, oh, it's the Washington Post talking about fake polls, I'm telling you, private Republican polls show the same thing. Voters oppose ICE amid shootings in Minneapolis, polls show, as President Trump cracks down on immigration in Minneapolis.
Anyway,
I believe he's lying. I believe he's completely lying, and I want to take a survey of our audience who believes and see what the audience, as a small anecdotal cross-section, do you believe ICE is out of control? They should stop doing this, withdraw from Minnesota, withdraw from these different states and cities. Do you believe they've gone too far? Are you uncomfortable with what you're seeing from ICE, and do you want it to stop? I think that's more questions than they'd ever put in any regular poll. So I'm giving you a lot of little wiggle room here for the audience, and you could vote and take a poll. I don't know this.
Well, I'm going to do a poll. I'm just going to ask one question. Do you think ICE went too far? Yes or no? Because I can't do like 27.
No, I understand, but he is lying, and these polls are intentionally part of their Hail Mary defense of their mass migration strategy to take over the United States and take it over by physical presence and physical force. Halpern would like this all to go away. He is a middle of the road guy who finds this to be very uncomfortable for him to watch. I believe making sausage is messy, but I like sausage. And if I have to watch it being made, I'll take watching it being made then rather than eliminating bacon and sausage. I am not uncomfortable with any of this. In fact, that is part of their defensive strategy, is to put out these fake polls saying America is uncomfortable with this and it has to end. Do not take the bait, people. This is yet another media attempt to manipulate the Trump policy on mass migration and deportation. I'm surprised that Halpern took the bait, but not surprised, as Eric says. He seems to be a guy who wants things to go away and to restore an America that he liked in 1993.
All right. Well, on that, to be fair, I think that our audience probably skews one direction, so it's not quite representational.
He's talking about Republican polls.
Sure.
That's why I'm doing this. He is repeatedly saying he won't name who has put out these polls. He won't name the Republicans who are saying this. He says all of these polls, which he doesn't name, again, citing Washington Post polls, saying that you're not believing what you're seeing here, folks, mocking his own audience for that regard. I believe he's lying. I believe these polls are lying. I believe the vast amount of American people, 67% at the time of the election, want these criminal aliens to be deported. So far, in Minnesota alone, they said the other day, according to Chrissy Noem, that it was over 10,000 criminal aliens have been deported so far in the state of Minnesota alone. Are you opposed to that? Is this too squeamish for you to even watch on TV? Is it that hard? Are you opposed to seeing it, or you'd rather stick your head in the ground, not watch it, and make it go away? Is it too uncomfortable for you to watch? Would you rather have them stay here and not be bothered by this? I mean, that's really the question of our era. This is not a question of this week. It's a question of survival of the United States, especially with Peter Schweitzer's new book coming out, which I can't wait to get my hands on.
Yeah, fair enough. Somebody's saying, why isn't this being streamed on Locals? It is on Locals right now. Whoever's asking that. If you're asking about the poll, unfortunately, the poll is only appearing on YouTube because that is the only platform that allows for me to put a poll up. So I did look at Rumble to see if I could do a poll there. I did look at Locals. I can't do a poll there. except for in a post. But in terms of in the chat, I can't do it. So
that's anyway, what I'm trying to say is this is a multi-pronged strategy on the part of the left. It is to fight back in the street with women. By the way, this Peter Schweitzer book is coming out, I believe today. Is today the 20th? I believe it's being released today. I strongly recommend. I purchased it. I purchased the Audible. Haven't read it or listened to it yet. But the name of the book, if you scroll up a little bit, just for people who are listening at home and are not reading this, Peter Schweitzer. Scroll up a little bit further.
Well, it's called The Invisible Coup. If that's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm looking for. The title, yeah, The Invisible Coup. Right, I know it was below my thing. The Invisible Coup: How American elites and foreign powers use immigration as a weapon. Peter Schweitzer was on with Mark Levin the other night, and they went into deep detail. He's got a lot of receipts, a lot of emails, a lot of text messages involving foreign governments coordinating this operation of mass migration, going back to the 90s and meeting in a meeting in Brazil with all these Marxists hooking up to coordinate this mass migration to overflow the United States and destroy it from within. The Mexican government is in on it. He talks about the fact that foreign countries from Europe have 1, 2, or 3 consulates in the United States for reasons that nobody understands. Mexico has 53. They met secretly in the state of New Mexico in their consulate on the eve of this election with Democratic officials on how to undermine the election, flooding the zone with Mexican money and Mexican illegal aliens. He goes into amazing detail in this book about foreign intervention in our elections by Marxists and how the sanctuary cities were created after the Marxists were run out of Central and South America. They created these NGOs here and took in the Marxists who were driven out by the right wing in these Central American countries, and they only accepted the Marxists. And that became the birth of sanctuary cities in the late 80s and 90s from El Salvador and the countries in Central America. That was created on purpose. That was then a funding spot for Soros and other funding entities to begin to spread this sanctuary city. This is not something that is happening overnight. They planned this in incredible detail. In 2007, the son and daughter of Che Guevara, both adults now, met with the Mullahs in Tehran to decide how to overthrow the Western government of the United States and then to split up the spoils. They formed an alliance after 2 days of arguing over the existence of God himself. They then agreed to put that on a back burner and to form a coalition of radical Islamists and Marxists. That's where it started, with the children of Che Guevara in Tehran in 2007, forming this coalition. And the idea is that after the West, and meaning us, are destroyed, they will both split up the spoils that's left over. And the tip of the spear itself, is mass overwhelming migration into the United States by hook or by crook, and then burying us from within. These documents that Schweitzer has acquired and emails and text messages involve the highest levels of the Mexican government as the tip of the spear in Central and South America. All roads lead through Mexico for this coup that the book is about. And they are within the country itself with over 50 consulates and embassies filled with government officials meeting around the clock with the DNC on how to steal the midterms and the next election using immigration as the weapon. Fascinating, all relatively new to me, and it seems like we're up against a bigger enemy, Eric, than we thought we had originally. It's not just the DNC any longer.
No, it's a red-green alliance, like somebody in the chat pointed out.
I know, but what I'm saying is we're up against the world at this point. It's not a question of just the National Democratic Party. We're up against elements that are far bigger than I or anybody has originally imagined. And, you know, John Solomon and others have been saying that a big RICO case is coming down the pike since everybody keeps fretting, including me, about 1 year and 0 arrests. I mean, Stone was on with Papadopoulos last night, again, railing about the fact that there have been 0 arrests in 1 year. And now these words are starting to leak out that there is a big RICO statute case coming out against all these people regarding the Russiagate scenario. I'll believe it when I see it, because it's been 1 year of absolutely nothing. And what Solomon is saying, this is John Solomon, what he's saying is it takes a long time to put a RICO statute case together, which is true. Again, you have 12 months left to do this before the House flips and they begin to cite others with contempt of Congress and jailing them. All of this goes away in 11 or 10 months when and if they take control of the House. Once they take control of the House, it's over. All of these things are gone. The administration is gone. The indictments begin to go out from the House for subpoenas to testify before the House. The impeachment begins again. This is about time management, and we've seen a lot of bad time management using NFL coaches, 8 of whom have lost their jobs because of bad time management in the span of a week or two. This is about timing and how to balance this equation before the midterms and win the midterms. And still, I think the original idea was to win the midterms and then take the gloves off, which is not untraditional for any administration regarding whatever their policies are in general. The first 2 years, you tread water, you do certain things. The second 2 years, you take the gloves off. However, they might not be able to take the gloves off, because if they lose the midterms, the impeachments will begin and the indictments will begin again. And the jailings, as every single Democratic official now says, once we get back in power, we will begin incarcerating our enemies. It doesn't seem to motivate anybody. They failed to indict a ham sandwich and Letitia James up in New York. They went to a grand jury. A mental retard could get an indictment from a grand jury. This DOJ could not get one against Letitia James. They dropped the ball on Comey. They went 0 for 2 on this one. And, now we're supposed to believe this massive RICO thing is coming down the pike. That's more complicated than simply getting an indictment against a woman who clearly committed mortgage fraud. So I'm starting to have my doubts that they're able to pull this off.
Well, I don't know. And I do know the RICO cases do take forever. They're not an immediate thing. And we'll see how it goes on that. But there is the alternative of, you could rush a RICO case and you could have a young thug type situation like you did in Atlanta, and literally have 20 people quote guilty and the person walking free after being guilty, and all, like, more than half of them all walking away with no problem or anything else, because you haven't prepared a strong enough case. So,
well, they're all going to go to jail. So, I mean, regardless whether they can get their ducks in a row or not, these subpoenas are going to begin coming from the House Oversight Committee in the other direction in the span of a year. So either they get the proof's in the pudding. Either they get their shit together or they're going to be indicted. And I think that would be motivation enough for me to get off my fat ass and begin to incarcerate people, but apparently not enough for Pam Bondi. No matter how many times she's confronted with something where it's a layup, she just says, we're looking into it and we're investigating so-and-so. Nothing has ever happened in 1 calendar year. That's a fact. They keep saying, we're looking into this, we're looking into that. Nothing has happened. And now it's going to turn against them. And they're going to have to, deal with themselves being cited for contempt of Congress. And look, I don't want it to happen, but it seems to be inevitable at this point. And I don't know if it's incompetence, fear, the desire to just play golf. I'm not sure what it is, but every single pundit last night on Newsmax was saying the same thing. What the fuck is wrong with the Department of Justice? Why can't they indict and convict anybody? It's becoming surreal at this point, Eric.
By the way, happy 1 year anniversary. A year ago today, Donald Trump was sworn back into office.
Right. And look, it's not a criticism of him. He can't possibly do any more.
Well, he can't replace the attorney general. She's
right. Obviously, something's got to give here. This cannot continue. Both of us have been very happy with Rubio. I'm very happy with RFK. There's, many, many things I'm happy about. But again, for the 9 millionth time in every single Republican administration, they cannot wrestle this beast of a DOJ to the ground and force it to do their bidding. It's absolutely astonishing. I mean, Trump can shoot from the hip about who he wants to be indicted all day long, and nothing seems to happen. The fact that they couldn't indict this fat fuck up in New York for mortgage fraud, my mother could have gotten her indicted. And Letitia James now will win re-election and go after everybody else in New York. It's just shocking to me. The incompetence is breathtaking. If he finds any more beauty queens to be lawyers in this Department of Justice, I'm going to throw up.
Oh, fair enough.
Get some Dershowitz types in there, some ugly fat trolls who love to live in suspenders and go up before a judge and do battle. I'm tired of looking at chicks with nails. I'm tired of looking at Kristi Noem, to be honest.
I don't want to get into that.
I am so over this woman. I just can't. She is not the right person for. Tom Homan could look at them all day.
I was going to say we need more Tom Homans
all day long. I cannot look at these beauty queens any longer. I see in my mind's eye them doing their hair moments before they come on camera. It's just untenable. They got to go.
Yeah, well, I totally agree. Kristi Noem too, and I've complained about her too because not only does she make it less serious, she actually puts agents in danger when she goes out there for her little movie star photo ops, because they have to, slow down the operation, make sure she's protected, everything else, and it potentially puts them at risk. And
she doesn't have the gravitas to go up with what's her name on Face the Nation. Get off the stage. Yeah, I watched her getting her clock cleaned on Sunday morning by this sea hag on CBS. If you don't have the gravitas or the verbal skills to go toe-to-toe with O'Donnell or any of these women on Face the Nation, get off the stage. Get a deputy to do it, for Christ's sakes. Become a figurehead. Stop trying to become a TV star. And I mean this for Pam Bondi too. For Bondi also. I don't care. There must be a deputy there who is ugly enough to go in there and do battle with these people.
Or even, my issue is that she's, again, doing the photo op bullshit out there in the field, wearing her little armor. It's like, if you want to go up, have a stupid press conference like every other DA in the nation. You go arrest people. You have a bunch of, merchandise, whatever's the property that you've grabbed. You stand there with the people. Look what we did. I'm cool with that. But this whole ridiculous Supergirl movie star little thing that she's pulling.
It's sickening. It's sickening. It's depressing. It's sickening. They haven't done anything. They dance around. They go to lunch. Look, we're at war. This is a civil fucking war with these people. We are now fighting in the streets against them. State versus Fed. This hasn't happened. We've had, again, you could say we had protests in the 60s. We had cities burning down. It wasn't Fed versus state. This is a different animal. Students protesting against the war is not the same as what we're seeing here. This is interfering with federal law enforcement officials to protect their potential voters to stay in power. That's the story. They're trying to drag this ICE agent who pulled over yesterday, and there was a short video of him saying, "You're preventing me from arresting these 3 child traffickers, sex traffickers. That's what you're doing here." And they don't give a shit because it's a civil war. They are looking at bigger fish. This guy was absolutely correct. They don't care about the semantics of this thing. They've been given their marching orders, Eric. And if these people are removed, they cannot maintain power in the United States. That's why this is a civil war.
Yeah, well, if you're fighting for your life.
Yeah, they are fighting for their political and way of life, of corruptly taking money in a waterfall effect from the federal government, feeding it the trough, and giving it to these immigrant groups, not wanting them to assimilate, which is a concept I never thought about in 1965 when Ted Kennedy signed the immigration bill, and he said, will they assimilate? And he goes, absolutely. He said, will this affect the geography and ethnic geography of the United States? Ted Kennedy said, absolutely not, sitting in front of the Statue of Liberty in 1965.
Well,
and clearly this is their weapon.
Well, and the beauty of it is to really control a population, to get them to do what you wish, give them just enough, just barely enough to get by, and always threaten to take it away. And then they will be locked in forever. And yes, that 100,000 of that particular population, which is very insulated, there's no outsiders, anything else. They vote every time as a block. And that could swing like 2-3%, at the end.
But I'm saying, I've said the same thing about the 1965 Voting Rights Act, because if 95% of the people, whoever these people are, covered by the Voting Rights Act, vote in one direction, that cannot be constitutional. And finally, SCOTUS is dealing with it this month. I mean, this has taken 60 goddamn years to figure this thing out. I don't mind if it was a 60-40 split or a 50-50 split. Half of them voted one way, but that's not what it is. It's never been that. When you have 95% of whatever group voting in one direction, that's a voting block. To quote LBJ, which I don't have to, we'll have these N-words voting for us for 300 years when he did the Civil Rights Voting Acts.
Yeah, for those who are questioning it, the fact that Trump wound up with, I think, 20% of black women.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I'm just saying that was considered unheard of, and that was enough to win the whole damn election. It's like if he didn't get that extra 10% or 15%, then
I agree with you.
He would have lost.
I agree with you. People do not understand how broad the Voting Rights Act of 1965 is. They will pick up women, black women, at the church and take them to the polls as part of the Voting Rights Act. They will provide incredible bend over backwards attempts to help people vote. They then expanded it to other nationalities after this, which had nothing to do with anything in 1965. I mean, this thing is a democratic, legislative, and legal weapon that they have used since 1965. And these two things, birthright citizenship and the Voting Rights Act, have got to come to an end to level this playing field and make it fair for everyone. It really, I mean, this thing has got to end.
All right. Well, we're talking about ICE. I think this came up. We never actually got a chance to play it. This is Philadelphia's take on it.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. I'm Rochelle Bilal, the sheriff for the city and county of Philadelphia. And I say her name, Renee Good.
Mm-hmm.
Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good.
What's this, a church?
This should not have.
It's insane. She's an elected official, got 100% of the vote. Republicans didn't run anybody against her. This is not the chief of police. This is the head of the sheriff's department of Philadelphia. She ran unopposed and got all the votes. That's the George Soros district attorney on her left who controls her. She's a private army for that guy right there in the city of Philadelphia, and back is some other leftist Mau with one of those hats on. But this embarrassingly ghetto-ese speaking sheriff who knows nothing about law enforcement, apparently, is running the sheriff's department in a major American city.
She rattled off like multiple places.
Not the fake made-up ICE, probably Trump's new army to attack citizens of the United States. Did you hear what I said?
No
law enforcement professional wears a mask. None.
Really? I could have sworn I saw SWAT teams with masks.
I've seen them a million times. This is not even a law enforcement person. This is somebody out of Central Casting. They gave her that thing. She weighs 300 pounds. She lives in the ghetto. She doesn't speak English. That guy on the left, there he is. That's the Marxist leader of Philadelphia. That's the district attorney who refuses to incarcerate anybody. She's now a spokesfront, a ghetto spokesmodel for this guy on the left.
Well, judging from my TV viewing in recent years, she should be playing a judge on television because they seem to be.
That would be a better role, Eric. You're right.
All judges on television are black females,
that's
right?
That's what she is. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he's got the.
Oh yeah, that's the man right there. Now you got to go into Philadelphia with the National Guard. Take them one at a time, though. Let's conquer Minneapolis in the Battle of Minnesota and indict. I think they're being indicted from what I saw. It went to a grand jury today, according to the newspapers, for Ellison and Tim Waltz.
Good. I mean, somebody else there too, who, while we're sticking with Minnesota, we've also got our old favorite. We can't forget the old favorites. Ilhan Omar.
Yeah.
Feds are probing to unravel the mystery of her skyrocketing wealth. So I'm sure.
I don't know. I mean, what's the mystery here? You go from a $60,000 a year job to being worth $260 million in the span of 5 hours. I mean, what is so complicated here? Like they look at these things like, whoa. We're gonna this is like the Zapruder film. We're gonna have to really, look at this under a microscope. How difficult is it to bust these people wide open? I mean, this is crazy. Yeah, either they go after their enemies and incarcerate them, or their enemies are going to incarcerate them. This is not rocket science. It's survival of the fittest. Either you put them away, or as they've said all week, we are going to incarcerate you. And I was watching what's his name last night, Roger Stone, and he was very profound about Roger Stone. He was on Newsmax, and he said they are threatening retribution if we uphold the rule of law for what they did to us. That is essentially the thing in a nutshell. This is not a tit for tat. They are threatening to come after the same people again if you enforce the laws that were on the books when they incarcerated these people. I mean, it's as simple as that. Either you have the balls to do it, or you could kiss your country goodbye.
Well, while we're talking about earning a lot of money in Congress, and well, it's not loyalty, but we'll add loyalty to it. We always have good old Marjorie Taylor Greene, who earned a good chunk of change on her own.
Oh yeah.
And now, of course, where is she? Oh yeah, her new perch on The View, discussing Trump, and the irony is just so thick here.
And so maybe now you should become a Democrat.
Yeah, you already are anyway.
I asked you last time. Everything you're saying is on the Democratic platform.
Let me hear from all you Marjorie Taylor Greene
fans. The Democrats fight for those things.
And all you Candace fans and all you Tucker fans. Let's hear it for all of you people together, still fighting like the last Japanese soldier on Iwo Jima for your Marjorie Taylor Greene piece of shit. I mean, where are all your fans now? I mean, it's real. What? Oddly enough, Jackie Brown was on there, the actress that played Jackie Brown on the movie, and she was.
Oh yeah, well, I'll pull that up later.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I'll pull that up later. Yeah, let me get to it. But
go ahead.
But let's get into her talking about.
I'll push back on that. It's Democrats and Republicans together that have put us in nearly $40 trillion in debt. I don't support a border invasion. That caused fentanyl deaths in my district.
It's my
280%. 280% skyrocketed. People like Lake and Riley were murdered because our border was invaded. I don't support those policies.
So will you remain a Republican?
I haven't said if I'm leaving the Republican Party, but my focus
You can make a statement here.
My focus is America
they're just going to, they have one track mind.
My vote, earn my vote.
I know, it's like
one track
swear
mind.
Allegiance, please.
Swear allegiance to us. We are the Communist Party of America, the CPA. We must have you kneel down now before the altar of The View, a show that should be removed for fair practices and by the FCC for equal airtime and should not be allowed on mainstream television. It should be on cable. If you want to have that thing, that's fine. They should be on some cable station. But you have to get more aggressive. It seems like the only guy, or there's like 5 people in the Trump administration, including him, who have their foot to the pedal to the metal, going balls to the wall. The rest of them, like, who is this chick who has a bar in her office, who they keep going after? This Latina now who's been drunk out of her mind in the agriculture department, or I don't know if you've been following this scandal of.
I missed that one.
Oh man, this chick's about to go down. Apparently partying 24/7, cabinet level position.
Is that Brooke something or another?
No. It was a Latina woman, completely partying, out of control, drunk out of her mind. While the country burns to the ground, she's getting drunk and partying. She's about to be forced out from the Trump administration by MAGA. I mean, it's amazing. After everything we've been through, that they still cannot focus on one particular thing. And the survival of the entire nation depends upon it.
Wow. Well, okay. So I did pull up to Pam Grier while we're talking about it to stick on the View theme, but Marjorie Taylor Greene, to finish that one out, she's actually claiming that everybody Trump is endorsing isn't fighting the swamp. It's locking in the deep state and the swamp. And I just thought that was hilarious. And it's like, because it's
including the woman he had just endorsed to go up against Bill Cassidy down in Louisiana. Bill Cassidy, the Republican swamp creature who voted to impeach Trump. I think Louisiana has a chance here to get some representation that actually lines up with their viewpoints. And don't get drunk with moonshine on November 7th and tell me you couldn't vote against Bill Cassidy because you were drunk. You got a chance here in Louisiana to set the record straight and get this woman in there who Trump endorsed yesterday.
And by the way, if you like what Bobby Kennedy is doing with Maha, then you should especially want to get Bill Cassidy out, because that is the number one enemy of Bobby Kennedy. Ted Cassidy is not only a swamp creature.
Oh, it's Bill Cassidy.
I'm sorry. Bill Cassidy is not only a swamp creature. He is so embedded with the pharmaceuticals and vaccines and all of the lot. So if you guys like that,
I don't know what more you need. I don't know what more you need. I mean, he voted to impeach Donald J. Trump. That's it. I don't care what other policies he's got. He voted to impeach Trump. Everybody in Louisiana, if you don't get a torch and light it and go burn this guy out of that mansion or wherever the hell he lives and put this woman in, you deserve everything you get down there.
And metaphorically, of course, for YouTube censors.
No, I mean to actually get a torch and go there.
We got to say it. I mean, it gets goofy, but all right. So Pam Grier, while we are,
I just noticed
while we're making statements that are absolutely real and absolutely truthful, and a proper representation of living history that she has experienced. Let's hear.
It's a 1619 project.
Racism growing up in Columbus, Ohio. How did that shape you?
Sometimes we would go from tree shade to get back to the apartment. My brother and I, my mom, with bags, and my mom would go, "Don't look, don't look, don't look," and she'd pull us away because there is someone hanging from a tree.
Damn. Oh, my Lord.
And they have a memorial for it now.
That's right.
Where you can see where people were and left.
That's right.
And
damn, whoopee.
It triggers me today.
That's why I wear this hat.
To see that a voice can be silenced. And if a white family supported a black, they're going to get burned down or killed or lynched as well.
That's right.
I did not realize that Pam Grier was 130 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I think she was born in 1949, to be exact. So,
I was going to say, because there is nothing post 1911 apparently in Ohio, so I just assumed that she had to be born in
1910,
1800s,
the 1800s. Yeah, so she's absolutely lying. She's again on national TV with an FCC license, going on to America's privileged licensed stations that we control the licenses for, to go on and influence hundreds of millions of people with mis and disinformation, unmolested, uncontested. And again, the FCC chairman refuses to do anything about it.
All right. Somebody in the chat's claiming that 1949 was the last known in Ohio. Okay. So let me just look. Known lynching Ohio. Let's just search that.
Okay.
Lynching of Richard Dickerson was 1904.
Of course. What are you even bothering to do this for?
Well, no, I'm just looking. Yeah,
somebody in the chat said that to you?
Yeah, they did. So
Eric,
why not? It's fun. It's fun to do that. It's fun to do that.
Okay. All right.
So,
but anyway, the point of the matter is, you can't use ABC daytime to reach 10 million people and just put anything you want out there. I mean, cable gets away with it. That's why they have cable. This license has got to be revoked. You can't have Jimmy Kimmel going on ABC every night, just spewing, unabated propaganda and news like this, from a comedy show. I mean, where is this guy? He's disappeared from the face of the earth, this FCC chairman.
Oh, he kind of, I think when he interjected with the Jimmy Kimmel situation, he's kept his head down after that point.
Now he's scared. Now he's scared.
He pushed it a little bit far.
Get him out of there. Get a guy in there who's a fucking bulldog. I mean, you got to start pulling these people out of there. You literally have 12 months before the midterms. And if you don't accomplish what you set out to do and you lose the midterms, which historically is traditionally what happens, in terms of general politics, you're fucked. We're all fucked. We're all fucked. I mean, you got a ticking clock, and they're acting as if, hey, let's go over to Greenland. This is kind of exciting. Let's go deal with, like, we don't have domestic problems, Eric, to deal with here that are not at level 10 on the volume of a Fender amplifier. You got to go over and deal with some foreign bullshit. It's one thing if you want to take out a nuclear reactor in Iran, okay, that's a special occasion. If you want to do something like that. But you got so many fucking problems here that are out of control. Out of control. We don't have the leeway to do this right now. He's over there at the World Economic Forum. Is that where he is? At Davos?
This is such a perfect timing situation because right now, folks, you would hear that's actually being critical of Trump. What Mark just said is being critical of Trump, which kind of proves the lie to this comment here. Mark, you're such a Trump lover. It makes me sick. So I love the timing of that. That literally came in right as Mark is saying about it.
These are retards. Get them out of here. They're retards. Fuck these people. They don't make it. They're just troublemakers, Eric. The real people know what I'm talking about. I'm not, these are irrational, crazy trolls, bro. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. What I'm talking about is the domestic situation in the United States needs 120% attention right now. We don't have the leeway to fly around the world and start meeting with NATO and doing all this shit. I mean, you got to focus on keeping this country together right now domestically. I don't mean that as America first. I don't mean that as an isolation situation. I just mean these cities are literally fighting your law enforcement in the streets. And you need to be here to deal with that, to go on national TV, make a statement, don't put out a Truth Social thing, put your face to something. Don't get spread out over 75 different issues in the span of a week. Focus on one thing and finish it. If you want to indict somebody in the state of Minnesota, fucking indict them. Have a press conference, indict the guy, drag him off, and have a perp walk of these guys. Let them lawyer up and try to get out of it. Move on after that to the next guy. This is not complicated, and I'm not alone in saying this. Everybody's saying the same thing in different tones.
All right, well, while we're on that, and John Springer donated $100, so we got to pay attention to that. That is very, very generous. Question: how does this sound? Greenland for Somalisota, even swap.
Well, John, thanks. It's what I'm trying to avoid are these distractions of Greenland right now, and believe me, I think Greenland can wait until after the midterms. I know that sounds crazy for me to say such a radical thing at this point, but when you're fighting in the streets of the United States with federal law enforcement officials, and you're about to lose the moral high ground on your deportation program, there might be other fish to fry domestically. Just an idea. But thanks, John.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, that is very generous of you. And but I am going to have one story about Greenland because people are going to push about Greenland and what the hell is Trump doing and why is he egging on Europe and everything else, and treating it as if, Denmark is such a great, kind, loving country, whatever, with Greenland. Well, this loving country, turns out that they love Greenland so much and the people so much that they had a program which was called forced sterilization.
Oh, that's not good.
For all the Greenlandies. And you say,
that's not good,
Eric, that's a long time ago. It is a long time ago. What are you talking about? And it turns out that hers was the early 2000s.
Oh my God.
It was.
What are they worried about? Overpopulation.
The program ran
from
exactly that. From the 50s to the 70s, the program ran, and they finally apologized for it. And I mean, they apologized literally like within the past decade or so.
Wow.
But yeah, the Greenland was, the population was growing. They were like, yeah, we can't have too many people in there. So they snuck in, and when these people would go in for checkups or whatever, they would just happen to have an IUD placed in there.
See. Right,
so in her case, when I said early 2000s, that's when they discovered
15% of Sweden is Muslim immigrant status. They have completely not assimilated into Sweden, and Sweden is now offering them $37,000 apiece to leave. None of them are taking it because in the game show known as welfare, you could stay on the dole cradle to grave in Sweden, or go for the box on the display floor for $35,000 and go back to Syria. So now Sweden has woken up to realize they have fucked themselves. Sweden, who had no colonies, as far as I know, in Syria or the Middle East. It's one thing, and I've said this yesterday to a friend of mine. It's one thing when the British Empire collapsed and Jamaican people came from Jamaica, former colonies, came to the homeland. The same thing with the French in Algiers. The same thing with us, with Vietnam, with the boat people coming here after wars. However, Sweden and the Scandinavian countries woke up one day, found out they were white, blonde, and blue-eyed, felt guilty, and went out onto the planet Earth to bring people under their roof, thinking they would assimilate and assuage their guilt for something they didn't do. They now have realized they fucked up their entire country. They now have 15% of these people unassimilated on the dole for life. So they finally came up with the Groubert program, the one I've been professing for over 30 years regarding the Palestinians, is to pay them to leave. And they have said, thank you very much. We are appreciative of the offer, but Sweden is great, and we're going to stay here.
Well, I mean, that's fine. And then you would just say, okay, well, let's put it this way. We will pay you. That's good. Or we'll just take your shit.
Yeah, I mean,
that would be bad. It's like
my program, which I came up with 30 years ago, was to pay the Palestinians to leave without an option of staying. In other words, you got to take the money with a ticking clock, saying, midnight a year from now, that's the deadline. You can't come back. We stamp your hand to make sure you can't get in. There's bouncers at the door, usually Hell's Angels with a velvet rope and a clipboard. And you got to go into Egypt, or we're going to find some places for you, but you can't stay here. And that's essentially what's happening, because Trump is putting this peace board together involving a lot of different people to oversee a war that has disappeared overnight, completely stunning the college anti-Israel movement, which has completely collapsed because the war has disappeared. They don't know where to go now, Eric. This is really a disaster.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, to finish out, when I said the prime minister, or that they apologized, Denmark, and I said it was in the last decade. Correction, it was September 2025.
Oh my God, they're really just trying to button up some old business at this point.
Yeah, so interesting factor on that. So
is Greenland in the Western Hemisphere, Eric? And I'll take my answer off the air.
Okay.
Does the Monroe Doctrine apply to Greenland?
I think it bridges the Western Hemisphere, so it's borderline. But yeah, what's interesting? Did you see the video of all people, Putin explaining the desire for Greenland?
Who's that?
Putin. Vladimir Putin, in a press conference, stated the fact that, oh no, the United States has wanted Greenland.
Oh, right.
Since he went through the history of our country, which nobody here knows, saying that we were trying to get Greenland and Iceland at almost the same time as Alaska, but everybody mocked Alaska so hard for what a joke, blah, 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 all that was. So the deal fell through. we wound up with Alaska. And then he pointed out, he said, yeah, I think a lot of people are probably happy that they did get Alaska, but, whatever's going on. So 1868 apparently is when the deal
the
fell
original
through for Iceland and Greenland.
Seward's Folly.
Yeah.
The acquisition of Alaska was considered Seward's Folly. That being said, we just have bigger fish to fry right now. That's all I can say about Greenland. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, some of that I think is just him being egged on. I don't know. Sometimes it can be frustrating. So, let's switch to our favorite state, yours.
Which one? Here?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh boy.
Let's talk about your upcoming future potential gubernatorial candidate.
Well, I saw
Eric
this coming.
Swalwell.
I saw this coming a while back. This one was very simple. This was a slam dunk. I think I was on with Eric when we talked about it over a month ago. He has no residence. California state constitution says you must reside. It's not radical. The California state constitution says you must reside within the state of California for a minimum of 5 years with a domicile. So he has no domicile. He lives in DC. He's got a primary residence there, a mansion there that's worth $1.2 million with a couple of kids. And he tried to sneak by with using a law office in Sacramento, Eric, on the application. Now, this goes to the Secretary of State of California, who traditionally has turned a blind eye to any of these highfalutin, high-class elite problems, such as where you actually live. However, this one is such a high-profile slam dunk case that even I saw this 2 months ago and said there is no way that this guy is going to be a viable candidate for the governorship of the state of California. And I presume he will withdraw his desire to become governor within a week.
Well, I mean, at least he didn't use a UPS store.
Right. I mean, look,
it's an upgrade.
Right. I mean, again, if the Secretary of State does not make a move, the feds have to make a move. This is a case where the federal voting rights situation under Harmeet Dillon, would come into play if and when the state, which is mulling right now how to get the fuck out of this mess with Swalwell, they're mulling now, how do we deal with this? Obviously getting our hands caught in the cookie jar. If she does nothing, then Dillon will have to make a move and declare him an invalid candidate.
Well,
couldn't happen to a better Chinese spy. No, they were going for the slam dunk. The Chinese Communist Party with Swalwell were going for complete control of the state. They should have bought the mutt a house 5 years ago and put it in the middle of. I know. No, I said that.
I mean, they've got a ton of real estate there. They could have just said and put his name on it.
They didn't do it. They thought that this guy was untouchable. They put the office down, the law office, and they said, this is where he lives. We control the state. Who's going to challenge this? Well, a guy named Joel Gilbert challenged it, and he's a documentary filmmaker and a Dylanologist who I've followed for years. Joel did it himself and filed the lawsuit against Swalwell to eliminate his candidacy. Not a lawsuit. He filed the challenge to the candidacy with the state voting rights commission.
Which means Katie Porter also likes him.
Yeah. Well, he's going to go after Katie Porter next for some other things I'm not going to discuss at this time. So he's chipping away at various.
So you know this guy personally, huh?
Gilbert? No, I don't know him, but I know his work.
Okay. Should be interesting. Well, okay. Well, let's shift down then to L.A. mayoral. You've got.
Oh yeah, this is a tough one now. Now you've got a Chinese Marxist who is moving to the left of Bass. This is a woman who claims that her only.
There is a left.
This is further left on her. This is Chinese left, and now we're going into the. This is. She was giving a radio interview and she lost her shit because the guy had the temerity to ask her what her qualifications were to handle a multi-billion-dollar budget of one of the biggest cities in the world. And she said she's a mother and also she has a food budget in her house, and she got all bent out of shape. She lied about her age. She then had to correct her own age. She is a community organizer in LA that nobody's ever heard of. She's announced in November she's running for the Marxist wing of the Democratic Party mayoral slot against Karen Bass, who's pretty far left to begin with. This woman's moving to the left of Karen Bass, which is kind of interesting. And her qualifications are that this is her, from her own qualifications, is that she's a mother.
I can't help but think it's like, so she went to school. She took home ec.
She took home economics.
Home economics, so she can run the state, Mark.
Right.
Well, maybe she took a typing class too, and then
I don't even know if she
can write laws, right?
But the fact that they get so bent out of shape when merely questioned shows you how thin-skinned they are about their socialist tendencies. They believe they're above reproach. They believe they're above questioning. They believe that how dare you question my authority?
Can I point out one little tiny irony to me? It's charming to hear somebody from the left celebrate motherhood.
That was weird.
Normally they mock it.
I know.
Because most women on the left, they hate mothers.
Maybe that's why she's citing it. Maybe you know what? Maybe I misinterpreted it. She may be citing it to move herself towards the middle.
Okay,
it might be her attempt to normalize her Marxist policies. Because why would anybody say I'm a mother? Who cares?
I agree. Well, and how many times have we heard? It's like they mock mothers. Oh,
you're right. That's a good point, Eric. It's a good point.
All right. Well, while we're on the Chinese, let's go ahead and look at Oklahoma. Oklahoma legalized medical marijuana a few years ago. Apparently, it's not working out very well because it's been taken over by Chinese organized crime.
No, I'm shocked, Hunley. Shocked. Gambling in Casablanca? I'm shocked, Hunley. You don't understand, Mark. I still get my ounce, and it's my right to have an ounce of weed. I don't care where it comes from. That's your problem, Mark. Chinese communist gangs, go screw you. I got to get my weed. I've said this repeatedly on this show, that gangs are controlling the marijuana, legalization part of marijuana, and also the distribution part, and also the fact they're controlling the untaxed marijuana, which a lot of people go to save money. Well, I go to my dispensary in the middle of Des Moines, Mark, so how dare you? You live in a bubble, baby. This situation is out of control. The Chinese are now controlling the legal drug trade in the United States.
Yeah, it appears they're growing their own on the side and then just sliding it under the door into the dispensaries because it's kind of hard to control. I mean, how do you?
I don't know.
Technically with like the different alcohols, I believe they're registered, so they could probably test a liquid and say, okay, that's Jack Daniel's. I wouldn't be surprised if they've had to turn in the formulas to the the government or whatever to test it. But it's kind of hard. Okay, which weed plant was that? Was it
here
grown there, grown there?
I mean, only talk about LA. They have an incredible amount of regulation and the connection to the farm, from the farm to the store. Really, really draconian, strict observation of that. But nevertheless, it's not going to stop the Latino gangs here and the Armenian gangs from running side weed businesses.
Well, you got the side businesses. Plus, you have to make sure that the watchers haven't been corrupted too.
Of course.
I mean, it's like, okay.
Well, not only that, every weed store you drive by in LA, everyone in Hollywood, everyone in here is completely empty. 24/7, nobody's in there. Once in a while, a guy goes in and buys some, and that's it. There's a little bump on a Friday night when they go get some weed, but they're open day and night with nobody in there.
All right. Somebody in the chat asked for the results of the poll that we put up earlier. So it's 92%. I went in and shut
That's what I thought it would be. Yeah. I said that yesterday. I thought it would be 92%. Yeah. Okay. And again, I believe Mark Halperin is lying. I believe he's lying. I believe it's 92% of Republicans, 92% of our chat, 92% of the real polls. Why he is lying, you'd have to ask him. because I found it to stand out like a Pinocchio's nose yesterday on his show. It was so brazen, so outrageous what he was saying that I just lost faith in the guy.
Which of the two programs, I'm just curious, do you listen to more? Have you stuck with two-way? Do you do the huddle? Or
I've been going back and forth. The chick on the huddle's annoying. Halpern has more sources, Eric, as you're well aware. But I don't trust him. I think he's got an agenda.
Well, he's a leftist.
He says he's not, but I mean,
okay, well,
yeah,
he's not as leftist as some, but you know, he has an agenda, as
right. Well, remember when the shooting happened? He was a both-sider, and then he had to recant that a few days later. And now this thing with the polling just really rocked me. I just went, this is so. I mean, my gut just told me it was the opposite, and he was emphatic about it. From that clip that I shot. That's why I shot it, because I just couldn't believe how brazen he was lying. Now, their attempts to lie have a political reason for them, because they're fighting for their political lives. They are using anything. The protesters have now taken over Target because ICE agents were using the bathrooms in Target. They went after some tech workers who had nothing to do with ICE, who were eating lunch in a restaurant. The Holiday Inn, not the Holiday Inn, the Hilton is probably going to lose their accreditation because they're blocking ICE agents from registering to stay there, while other guests are fully allowed to stay there. Don't forget, Trump is a hotel man. So the head of Hilton is going to be hearing from Donald Trump regarding ICE staying at the Hilton. I mean, this thing is
DoubleTree was the latest one. I don't know if it's a Hilton property or not.
Well, there's a Hilton property. Yeah, it's a Hilton property. It might have been DoubleTree, but it was a Hilton property. They lied. People called up and they said ICE can't stay here for safety reasons. So the people thought the hotel was empty, and they said, no, everybody else can stay here. It's safe enough, but we have to keep out ICE because for their own good, Eric. You know that British idea that you're Jewish, you can't go to the protest because you're creating an unsafe environment by being a Jew at a Palestinian rally. That's the logic they're using with the Hiltons in Minnesota, outrageously enough. But yeah, they're armed and in the streets now. I'm a Hilton Diamond member. A lot of people are, Dustin, and they're on X saying they're going to withdraw their membership. I've seen post after post after post.
Wow. Well, continuing on the drug front, because we do talk about that a lot. LA Times, U.S. overdose deaths fell through most of 2025, federal data reveals.
Yeah, there's a complete collapse. There's other articles today, all breaking today. The reason I like the LA Times one was they mention these various reasons other than the number one reason for the complete collapse. It's a 27% collapse in overdose deaths from 100 down to 80,000, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a massive amount in 1 year. And that's because of the closing of the border. They go out of their way to come up with Chinese chemical regulations, pandemic stimulus effects, every single thing until the end of the article, where they blame Trump for his policies that may bring an increase back if his policies go through. This was a masterpiece of an article of propaganda on the front page of the LA Times yesterday. Wow. A masterpiece, Eric.
His $2,000 check to help Americans offset rising prices can get people to buy drugs. That is a beautiful
you think that's a stretch? You think that's a stretch?
Well, no. I'm just sitting there. I'm thinking, when has a leftist organization ever complained about giving the money to the people?
Right.
I mean, good God, they celebrated Biden doing it last time I checked. Oh my goodness.
I mean, but this act of closing the border, nothing, no policy has ever saved more lives statistically faster than this, in my opinion, faster than this particular policy change from one administration to the next. As I've said before, Democratic policies kill Americans. The policies and I'm not talking about a war in Vietnam, which is a war. I'm talking about actual Democratic policies. In other words, not providing treatment to homeless people in the streets. They die at a level of 8 a day. The policies of the Democratic Party kill Americans time after time after time. This one policy by Trump, shutting the border down, has now caused a 27% in youth in this country in 1 year. In 1 year, a 27% drop.
Well, didn't they have other great policies? Like you mentioned, what about like the injection sites to help them out and provide them with great clean needles so you can inject more on and run off and then go shoot up, and a million policies.
There's a million of them. They have vending machines with needles in them, vending machines with pipes in them, vending machines with moist towelettes and things so you can shoot up with. I mean, their policies kill Americans. It's not even debated. And I'm not talking about going off to war and getting killed in a war. That's historical. It goes back to the beginning of beginning of the nation. I'm talking about actual political policies. You could make the argument that allowing people to have SNAP benefits that include soda and candy and Southern fried chicken out of Popeyes eventually puts people on diabetic insulin and kills them slowly kills them through obesity. I mean, you can make that argument editorially, but this thing with drugs coming across the border, no one policy I've ever seen has had a more draconian effect than Trump's policy to shut the border in regards to fentanyl. And the LA Times refused to mention it in the entire article. That's how the leftist media works, by omission, folks. Not just putting out cockamamie bullshit stories. It's gaslighting readers into reading a story and omitting the actual meat and bones of a story and coming up with other cockamamie excuses and storylines. That's their genius. They sat around all day saying, what can we put in this article to explain the 27% drop? How about this? Okay, how about that? How about this? How about that? Anything which they knew was the real reason, which is in every other article in the country. It's in all the other articles except that one. It really is amazing. But kudos to Trump, for enforcing this shut border policy. And, can drugs come in from other places? Obviously they can, and obviously they are. But I've never seen a war on drugs physically be taken to the streets like Trump did.
True. Now, this is going to sound draconian, and I can be completely off base. Is it possible some of the drop too, I hate to say, is because of people who died? Like, if somebody did die in an overdose, they can't die from an overdose again.
In fact, a couple of years ago, I said that the fentanyl crisis will burn itself out simply because of people are just not going to pick up the gun anymore. If you keep picking up the gun and it goes off and kills you, at some point, you're not going to pick up the gun. So I think there's some of that happening. And I said on this show a couple of years ago that it may be the best thing ever happened to us was Chinese fentanyl coming into the country in a perverse way because people are now petrified to pick up anything. For people who don't know, what the cartels have done is they've taken prescription drugs and pressed them out of fentanyl to look like counterfeit prescription drugs. So you may believe you're getting a Valium, you may believe you're getting any kind of other drug because it says that on there. They've even created phony prescription drug bottles to deceive you. It may have caused so much fear that people are afraid to pick up anything at this point, which is what I said a couple of years ago on this show, and that may be coming to fruition also.
Okay, I just wanted to ask if that was possible.
Yeah, I mean, they actually press Xanax pills that are pure fentanyl. That look and act like Xanax pills. They look and act like Valium. They look and act like Librium. They're pressed with pressing machines, handheld or automatic ones, pill pressing machines, and you fill it in with the powder that's pure fentanyl.
So they go for the safer drugs like crystal meth, which somebody can run on for a long time as they destroy their lives.
The only thing that's going to kill you with crystal meth is eventually a heart attack, and that's rare. You could run on crystal meth and lose your teeth, and there's other health issues, no doubt about it. But you're not going to overdose like an opioid. That's a Russian roulette handgun. But with meth, you can. That is a drug. That's a long-term drug. You can run on that for years.
And it's cheap enough.
Yeah, it's
right?
like $5. I mean, it's $5, Eric.
Wow. Amazing. All right. Well, let's move over to Timothy Busfield. And there's another interesting story about him too going on that I'm concerned about. And I did want to wait a little bit before I said too much on his end.
Yeah.
But first off, Amazon's jumping in. They're editing him out of a movie already. We'll probably see more of that. Remember Kevin Spacey had shot in a complete movie and then they recast it with, I think it was Donald Sutherland who replaced him and reshot.
I don't remember who replaced him. I just remembered he was replaced.
Right.
Yeah, this is a similar tale. They may go back in, which was, I'm afraid, if they go into West Wing and 30-something, they may edit him out completely if he's convicted, which would really be Orwellian.
Well, it would be crazy if they do it. I don't know if they will, but what if that's a use for AI? Like they just said, literally replace that person and that, just erase it with a non-person, some sort of AI.
They would morally justify it, saying, we can't have this guy, blah, blah, blah. He was convicted of blah, 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 and justify it by that way. And the American people would go, yes, we support that 100%.
And then they start to slip it in. Well, we did it there for that reason, but we'll just go ahead and we'll do it here. We couldn't afford to cast everybody, or we could not find the particular character type of
How about altering minority cast levels in older films to make it more balanced?
I agree. We couldn't find enough. We can't find enough dwarves, so we can just slip some in.
You could always find enough dwarves. I mean, they're mostly unemployed most of the time. They're sitting down by the union hall. Hey, why can't you hire us? We're regular dwarves. Come on.
Screw Peter Dinklage.
Screw Dinklage.
Anyway, well, there's a second story going on about Busfield, and it was kind of what my worry is. So apparently, the defense just presented a recording from the police showing that the two accusers said, no, he never touched us. He did not do that, down the line. And apparently a year later, after they got therapy, saw a psychiatrist, suddenly he did. Now, there is a history of something called false memories and people who have seen therapists and come up with stories that were physically impossible. So I'm not saying he didn't do it or did do it, but I am saying that it has happened in the past that therapists, there have been, like women going to therapy and all of a sudden they're saying my dad did blah, 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 as an adult and they didn't remember any of it. But then when they started to go to therapy, all of a sudden they have memories of what happened. And that could be
I agree.
A problem.
He will have his day in court. They're trying to use this to get him out on bail, Eric. This is stuff, as you know, this is for a trial. They are doing this before the judge to spring him from jail because the judge refused to bail him out as a flight risk and possibly a self-deletion risk. He will have his day in court and he can play these tapes all he wants. This is not the place for them, in my humble opinion.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, I don't know how well he will do in prison. So, if you were the one charged, you would probably play and do everything you could to get the hell out.
I don't begrudge him from doing it. I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff on the prosecution side of trying to go to Warner Brothers for 4 months and having the legal department of Warner Brothers blocking them from getting access to the victims who are also actors, also in Warner Brothers productions. And they cock block them legally from the legal department of Warner Brothers for months, according to the prosecution.
Yeah, and I don't doubt it.
So you have that on the other side.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see how it plays out while you're
talking. How it plays out. I mean, I don't know what happened. Who knows? I know the statement made by his wife is so crazy. The letter she wrote to the judge is so nuts. That it definitely didn't help his cause. The Melissa Gilbert, who is the president of the Screen Actors Guild, who has her own mental problems, her own growing up problems, put it that way, based on her own memoirs, wrote a letter to the judge saying he's a loving husband who's so courteous that he doesn't even have sex with her any longer. In fact, he doesn't like having sex at all. In fact, she merely cuddles with him in bed. That's how loving he is. And he's so kind that she wrote in the letter to the judge that he has the kindness to go into the shower and masturbate so he can get off and not have to have sex with her. That's the letter that his wife wrote to the judge. You think we're dealing with a normal couple here?
Probably not helpful.
Okay.
Probably not helpful.
I was waiting for you to finish before I told you this other part of the letter that she wrote to the judge yesterday to get him out of jail. And I read that and I went, oh, this is the most batshit couple in Hollywood. But they're a power couple. This is not some random people. They have hundreds of credits. She was the president of SAG, for crying out loud. These are not minor players. It's just atypical of how they roll. He's outraged that anybody's even contesting this. He says, sure, I touched him. I mean, read his own statements. Read his own statements.
Okay.
I mean, in other words, he's outraged that anybody's challenging this. That's his outrage. It's just shocking. I mean, it really is the disconnect between Hollywood and children and Disney and Warner Brothers and these kids. Sure. He was the director on the show. He admits touching them, and yet he finds it outraged.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and there is a history of that. I mean, Brendan Fraser went through some major hell. Other people.
Well, Corey Feldman came out yesterday in support of the kids.
Corey Feldman's another case. I don't want to.
No, but I'm just saying this is not the first time this has happened. This is
I understand, but
pervasive throughout Hollywood.
Okay, well, I'm going to say that Corey Feldman has his own issues, and
they all do because they've been so psychologically damaged. That's part of the problem. You know, once you've been that damaged by these acts, you can't just say, well, that person's damaged. He's not a credible witness anymore. It's really a mess. And this guy's part of the problem. This guy Busfeld.
All right. We're going to change gears to another interesting case of self-deletion.
Oh, boy.
Probe into Hunter S. Thompson's self-deletion.
What?
His widow is claiming of foul play, sparking a family rift. I'm like, so it's been 20 plus years. Did you know that? It's been 20 plus years.
Has it been? 20?
20. I believe it was 2005. Yep. 2005.
Is there a book involved or a book deal?
I do not know. I just figured that some money was running out somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's this one. She suggests. She's suggesting that it's a battle from his wife between the son and daughter. I'm guessing they got more of the estate.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was just thinking that this is a very interesting situation, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, he was alone. I guess somebody could have snuck in there and done that to him. They did do an intervention on him and tried to send him to rehab, and then he ostracized everybody involved with the intervention and took care of it himself. And as Eric said, self-deletion. Much ado about nothing. His writing had completely collapsed from drug and alcohol abuse for 20 years prior to his own demise. Never wrote anything again that was of any stature to his original writings, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Hell's Angels, and his coverage of the elections in '72. But after that, again, not unlike a lot of these celebrities who just coasted on drugs and reputation until the end of their lives.
Yeah, and I mean, his was one of the easiest to believe. I mean, if you were going to do it to somebody, he was a perfect case of it because the guy was a maniac.
Yeah,
I mean, an absolute, complete maniac with his guns, with everything else, with his crazy attitude. And even at the height, he had a drug issue.
Yeah.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is literally a memoir of doing more drugs than his compatible, I think, with any human being on the planet.
Well, when you read these stories of like Belushi and Chris Farley and these people who are doing it out in the open, not just in your bedroom, on a Tuesday night and you're not a celebrity. I'm talking about out in the open and nobody stops them. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, we told them not to do it. Did you think about firing them? No, that would be a little draconian. Then we'd lose money. Did his manager try to dump him? Nah, he didn't want to because then he'd lose money. But we did everything else we could. We did as much. Bernie Brillstein, did you drop being his manager? No, because I wanted to stay close to try to help him, to keep giving him money every time he needed drug money. But I did the best I could. I really did.
Yep. Speaking of that, I don't know. Did I play that Golden Globes clip for you? I don't know if I have it. I thought I did. Snoop is.
Oh yeah,
back on.
Did. Yeah, he's back on the stuff apparently, Eric.
Yeah. I played, and he was like, "You took too long. I'm way fucked up now." On the stage, I was like, "Well, there you go."
Yeah.
So
these people who quit every other month, it's the newspapers and magazines pick up on it, and it's usually, as I've said before on the show, it's usually about getting bonded for production. In other words, you have to pass a physical, and that includes urine and drug and blood tests. If you don't, the production can't get insurance, and everyone's fucked. So they will try to get clean months before. There's all different ways to do it, but it's usually about some show or a movie or a reality show or something involving insurance for the entire production.
Yeah. No, and of course they would want as much press as possible, so then they could.
They want as much press that they're clean as possible, because it's a temporary thing to get through the physical testing for fill in the blank production that's coming up in a month. And the media is happy to help them. The media is happy to work with them to put out their bullshit story and allow them to take in some money, disappear. And, it's funny. I was reading this. I saw Ben Affleck and Matt Damon on with Rogan. And Damon was talking about how Netflix is insisting that they repeat the plot in dialogue 3 to 4 to 5 times during the course of the movie, because people are on their phones at home and not getting the central message of the movie's plot. So Matt Damon said Netflix insists that we tell the plot out loud 3 or 4 times during the course of the movie. And I went and you talk about dumbing down the product. Ben Affleck then said, well, this is no threat to theatrical releases of movies, these streamers, as if they're another product entirely. I watched this release of a movie called The Rip that they just promoted yesterday. It came out Friday night, I think, where they do repeat the plot of the movie 4 or 5 times. It's an absolutely atrociously bad movie. It's so stupid that you just want to, punch yourself in the face for even watching it. And Matt Damon and Ben Affleck needed the money. They came out of the woods, got the money, and now they'll disappear for 5 more years until they run out of money. It's not complicated what's going on, and nobody said it's rocket science. This film is barely watchable, directed by Carnahan. Just like going, what is going on in this particular movie? But to his credit, Matt Damon said certain things that Netflix makes us do, as if that might not interfere with the flow of a film.
When I saw that clip and heard that clip, it actually made a ton of sense. I was like, oh, that's what the hell's going, because I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I am not a screenwriter like you, but I've actually, studied some acting and stuff. And one of the rules is don't tell, show. And so I keep seeing, and I'm like, why are they sitting there saying the damn plot of the movie?
Yeah.
What the hell are they doing? This is ridiculous. It's just, I'm like, this is so juvenile. This is supposed to be professionals. Why are they telling me that? So hearing that, I was like,
well, it's on orders from the studio. You want to talk about
it makes sense. So it's like
creative interference. You want to talk about creative interference? How about 2 major stars that you believe have the muscle to fight this off do not have one muscular creative bone in their body to tell them to go fuck themselves. That I found to be astonishing, but other people told me that they're just cowards who need the money.
Well, you know what? While we're talking about a lack of creativity, let's pivot over to Starfleet Academy.
Oh, for the love of God, what is going on here, Hunley? They're saying this may be the worst reboot in American history, in Hollywood history. This is a Star Trek reboot, right?
Yeah, well, I've got to say, sorry. Okay, you've got the whole Paramount Plus, CBS, or whatever.
Yeah.
This isn't the first Star Trek that they've done on the digital service. There was another one, I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, and I quit watching it. Leslie continued to watch it all the way through. I could not stand it. It was so woke, so obnoxious. The lead character was a complete Mary Sue. And I mean, it literally was like, okay, well, we're about to do such and such. Pause everything. Go fetch Genius Girl, because they can't do anything without Genius Girl being, in the scene, who, of course, is a black female, Anyway, it was absolute complete garbage. I'm sure that this is just saying, hold my beer. I can be stupider yet. And
that's apparently it. At one point, Holly Hunter pulls her feet up into a yoga position in Captain Kirk's Starfleet command chair and starts reading a novel as if she's in a wicker chair on the porch of her house in Vermont. As some critics have pointed out, one of the strangest moments in the show.
Well, this is how crazy bad it is. Stephen Miller actually posted about this on X, saying tragic, but it's not too late for Paramount Plus to save the franchise. Step 1, reconcile with William Shatner and give him total creative control. And William Shatner answered.
That's funny.
He's into it. He said, I'm so on the same page with you, Stephen Miller. The fact that they have not cured hyperopia by the 32nd century is an abysmal oversight on the writers. Also, Paramount Plus needs to up the budget, because I'm sure that a well-oiled organization like Starfleet in the distant future could afford more than one pair of glasses for at least this hyperbolic or hyperopic bridge crew. Do they pass the glasses around while piloting the ship? Shame on the line producers. That's what you meant, right? I'm ready to assume command of the series. Call me.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. Wow.
And no, he's not 100, chat. He's about 95.
He could still do it. He could still do it.
Oh, yeah, he could.
Oh, my God.
That is great when he's coming out. Now, another story I want to cover and then get into some super chats. Tina Peters. I don't know if you've seen what's been going on with her. Who
is Tina Peters, first of all?
Tina Peters is out of Colorado. She was the county clerk who got thrown in prison.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Trump did a pardon for her, which doesn't matter because it's a state crime. But anyway, the appeals panel, and I watched it, were kind of aghast with what happened with her situation, and they were very pointed. One of the really sickening parts was the actual crime she was convicted of was a misdemeanor, and the judge let it go in as a felony.
Yeah.
So this woman, she's 70, has 9 years in prison, which is a damn death sentence if you think about it. Yeah. It appears that judge, I think the judge not only committed error from what I'm seeing, but really maybe should be prosecuted if that's possible. The governor, Poehler, who's a Democrat, is actually looking at commuting her sentence or pardoning. And in my opinion, I think he probably will, because he doesn't want the appeals court to spank down that horrible, horrible decision. If he pardons her, then no harm, no foul. What's the point? You could just drop it, shove it on the side, and that judge can continue on abusing other people's civil rights.
Wow.
At will. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know, but it really reeks, in my opinion, in every way. I talked to Nate about it. Nate is no right winger, and Nate said that it's a sickening sentence, and she was railroaded. And
well, I mean, my opinion, I would send U.S. Marshals to the jail and physically remove her. That's what I would do. I'd send U.S. Marshals there. I'd physically remove her and put her back into her own home and say, work this out. She's not going to stay in there until this is resolved. And I would do it under presidential orders. Say she's a political prisoner.
And there's another issue too, where I feel like the state, and by the state I mean Colorado State, is fighting back because now they're releasing this that she was caught in an altercation on camera. So this is right after.
Oh, they're not going to buckle. They're not going to buckle.
So they're going to try to get her on other charges or a felony.
They're going to murder her in jail by keeping her in jail. U.S. Marshals have to physically go and remove her from the prison. That's it. Take her out of there. Let them sue the federal government. Let them chase the Department of Justice with a lawsuit for physically removing her. Save this woman's life. Do not let her die over some fight of principle between the state and Trump and this governor. Remove her, settle it afterwards.
Right now, in addition to that, I will say that Trump has pulled funding left and right from Colorado. He's not doing nothing.
No, I agree, but it's not having any effect of ending this grandmother's life in prison. She has to be physically removed. These are physical problems. They're not theoretical. They're not funding. This is a matter of life and death. She is a political prisoner in the United States. Remove her. This is an Assange situation. Resolve it after she's removed. You want to go to court, have it out, sue afterwards, put her in protective custody, whatever you want to call it, Eric. She's got to be removed from the draconian prison.
Yeah, and that was something else her lawyer brought up, and I'm not trying to continue on, but it appears that in Colorado they do not have a facility. I'm trying to think of the term for it, because you have maximum, and then you have like low level facilities. Apparently they don't have that for women. Only men have low security, I guess it would be. Only men have the low security facilities, which is where
another good reason. There's another good reason to do it.
Right. So the only people she is around technically are the hard cases.
Yeah.
And just because they're female doesn't mean they're not a crazy hard case.
Are you kidding? Of course not. Especially in Colorado.
All right. So I'm going to jump to some super chats because we got some support here, which we appreciate. Starting with Anthony from Australia, who is changing up a little bit. He's saying Trump's fault, allegedly.
He's lawyered up, Anthony. He's got an Australian lawyer.
He's protecting himself. He's protecting his rights, and I think it's
apparently because of the Bondi Beach murders of the Jews, they have now passed legislation for additional gun control in Australia.
No surprise there. Oh, and by the way, those who were yelling at me before, it's apparently it's Bondi Beach.
Bondi Beach. Okay, whatever.
I got yelled at for saying Bondi.
Who gives a shit? Any of those cracker ass, anal retentive douchebags who criticize us mispronouncing something. I just wanted to take a moment to say, go fuck yourselves. Okay. There's so many important things going on without you Pictionary, dictionary, anal retentive spectrum people calling us out for mispronunciation of Oregon.
Oh, God.
Sorry to offend you.
They're like, what did we do today?
Nothing. I'm supporting Norm Crosby.
What's the other one?
Norm Crosby. By the way, today, I sent you a thing. Today is a day that FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, January 20th, 1949, gave Shirley Temple a tear gas fountain pen as a gift. I don't know why. I just thought that would be of interest to the audience.
That is a very unique gift.
Yes. Today in 1949, J. Edgar Hoover gave Shirley Temple a tear gas fountain pen.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if there's an article on it. I just remembered that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I didn't see an article, but I just remember that it's somewhere in my stupid mind of things that are useless to know.
Yeah. All right. Stephen Greco. Oh, yeah. This is a good story to bring up. The fact we talked about Tom Homan earlier. Tom Homan got the Presidential Rank Award for Distinguished Service from Obama, recognizing his sustained exceptional leadership in public service as an ICE executive. Left never brings that up. I love the jacket, Mark. But yes, he did.
Thanks, Stephen. I think there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Let Homan speak with one voice. Don't allow them to, you say, well, Tom Homan said this. What do you say? Let this guy be the voice in this particular area. Stop bringing on all these different people. They're looking to split the political message any way they can. And if they could bring on Christy Nome and say that Homan said this, what do you say? They'll do it all fucking day long. Let Homan be the main voice, or pick, whoever you want in any of these departments. Basant and Treasury, brilliant. I mean, there are guys who actually know how to do this.
Right. And Homan wouldn't have gotten caught in the trap that Christy Nome did when she,
right. That's what I mean.
When they were saying, hey, did you, you were given orders by a judge not to pepper spray people. And she said, well, we're not pepper spraying. Well, look right there. And she's like, well, that was blah, 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 blah. Homan literally would have answered that correctly, which would have said the judge's order was to not pepper spray peaceful protesters, which we are not doing.
Exactly.
However, if there is a law enforcement action that has to take place, then we will have to get control of the situation. But he knows the policy
but I'm saying,
out.
You're absolutely correct. She is not ready for prime time player. She is not she's not ready. How many more times do you need her to step on her own foot, putting her own foot in her mouth? Is it really worth it to have a beauty queen doing this? What is the upside? I don't get it. Put Homan out there. He knows how to handle these people. You have this woman who doesn't have the mental skill power to go toe to toe with a brutally far left media. Either don't go on, Eric, right? Either send on your deputy to do it, send on Homan, and step out of the way, or leave the job. Leave the job. Well, you're not doing us any favors, lady.
Yeah, and you need a Homan, because Homan has literally been in there for so many years, for so long, that he could not only name the policy, he could probably tell you the history of 8 revisions of the policy and in and out, and every
he could have simply said, President Obama said that to me when he gave me the award back in Obama gave you an award? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. And he said to me one day, there's a lot of ways to skin that cat.
The incident at La Vista Correctional Facility in Pueblo lasts just seconds. That's Peters appearing to have her hand or hands on the neck or shoulders of another female inmate, pushing her across the room. Peters' team
I love it when my tab decides to start playing. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Telephone call, Bungalow 12.
No kidding. All right. Well, that wasn't cool. All right. Purchase subscriber with $5. Thank you. Soros money can't be stopped. He has worked with CIA many times. If you bust him, he rats everyone. It's all set up as mutual destruction.
First of all, I've never seen any documentation that he's worked with the CIA many times. He's never been busted, so I don't know if he's going to rat anyone. The negative thinking on some of these stories is really bizarre. It's all set up as mutual destruction. Optimist kind of guy, purchase subscriber. You optimistic, are you?
He's a little black-pilled, I think.
A little black-pilled, maybe? Soros money can't be stopped. I'm sorry, I think it can. I think Al Capone's money could be stopped. I think anybody's money could be stopped.
Well, a lot of Soros money did get stopped. It was USAID. That surprised me. I thought
I don't know what this guy's
Soros
talking
using
about.
his own money.
Right.
Turns out that bastard is so good at it that he used our own money to sabotage.
Right. Look how they shut down USAID. You would have told me that 4 years ago. I would have laughed in your face.
I didn't even know the extent
There's
of what
so much negative thinking out there that this can't be done. This can't, dude, I'm so over this negative thinking. We can't do this because of that. The building's on fire, for Christ's sakes.
All right, true. Kimmy Hunt, Ohioan here. 65. Yeah, none since 1911. Ohio was a big abolitionist state.
Absolutely.
Underground Railroad, U.S. grant from here. 2 HBCU schools here. She's BS. Yeah, she is. I mean, it's so blatant.
Right. But it went out to millions of Americans with a license by the American people. I don't give a shit that she's full of shit. I'm talking about the loudspeaker that we're giving her to be full of shit. That's important to me. She doesn't have the right to go on an FCC licensed station that is a privilege of the American people to grant to ABC and put out cockamamie bullshit like that. I'm sorry.
Or at least have the legal team or the host say, we don't have any document, at least pushing back on it.
Which they've done before.
But not on that. They're all,
yeah.
Guppies, like, yeah. Oh my. Let me see. Taylor Pollock. Let me see. Hi, Mark. My mom, Tina, says you look great tonight. I agree that we are spread too thin. Trump does not have a strong enough cabinet to do so much. Love Trump, but he is too concerned about legacy. Well, considering that Marco Rubio is half the cabinet right now, maybe we need to spread his jobs out a little. That would help.
Well,
too.
I mean, Basant and Treasury is great. RFK is great. I mean, there's only so many people to go around. I mean, I don't know. I can't read his mind about his legacy. I can't put myself into his mind. That's a little bit too much for me. But he is using the madman theory of power, which he learned from Nixon. Nixon and Kissinger came up with this so-called madman. By the way, thank you, Taylor. Nixon and Kissinger came up with this madman theory. He's doing it as one man, which is kind of interesting. Kissinger used to go to the Allies and say, Mr. Nixon's crazy. He could drop the atomic bomb by tomorrow. I can't control him. He's a maniac. He's playing both sides of this with great effect. I'm not saying it's not effective. The madman theory of American politics, he's saying to the mullahs, I'll blow you off the face of the earth. That comes from a Nixon style foreign policy of this thing they actually created called the madman effect.
Well, he did it before too. He just changed up. He did it before by having Bolton.
Yeah.
And Bolton, he just didn't say it. It was just like, just march him around. It was like, oh shit.
Yeah, and that's traditionally how it's been done. But those people have stabbed him in the back, so now he's doing it himself. So tip of the hat for that. Look, his legacy is his legacy. Really, I mean, is anything going to change between now and the time he leaves? I mean, is he going to, by doing another sit-down interview with the New York Times? Give me a break. Does he really think that's going to change his legacy? Of course not. He's trying to use whatever mainstream megaphone he can to penetrate that veil.
And honestly, Trump's legacy won't be written until 30 years after he's out, or 40. I mean, look at Reagan. Reagan is seen by most historians as an overall top tier president
now,
but it was not when he got out. No, you got to get away from their time in office before you can actually break it down and look how they were. I mean,
can we get back to Taylor Pollock's mother again? How her relationship with me? I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I ignore that. Anyway. All right, Kathy, your realtor in Jersey.
Really?
Yeah, that's what she says. Love to see you two have commentary during the State of the Union.
That's interesting. That could be fun.
I don't know. Maybe.
I can't wait.
I don't like to talk over that though, and I know Mark wants to absorb it all. And then
I don't like to do. I want to hear what the guy's got to say in real time instead of stepping on him. Either you sit there and say nothing. So what's the point?
Or you pause it, and then everybody wants to hear what's going to be next. And then
it's too messy. It's too messy.
Oh, okay. This is very weird. Scott Benbow, and I got a little worried because I saw the name Eric in here. I'm like, whoa. Okay. My wife shared a bed with Eric Swalwell, a deep well. Granted, she was still only 14 months old. Algonia, Iowa. His dad didn't retire from the PD. YouTube problems. That is a very confusing message. I really don't understand what you're saying, Scott.
I'm having a little trouble understanding the flow of this one here. Sometimes Benbow gets into the sauce, and he's had this problem before, where he's on the road and there's an open bar, or what they call a bar in the hotel room, where it's $10 for each little tiny bottle, but he goes through every one of them, gets a bill for $1,700 sometimes, just drinking the hotel bar thing. I thought he was on the wagon for a while, but now he obviously has taken control of his situation a little bit and needs more help from his wife.
And that's a very unusual super chat, but thank you. Thank you very much. Purchased subscriber is back.
He's back.
Mark keeps saying Screen Actors Guild. It's Film Actors
last
Guild.
just seconds.
What? That was Screen Actors
He's right about
Guild.
that. No, he's right. They changed the name. And yeah. No, he's right. He's making a joke, which is true. I mean, I am still a member, but now I guess I'm a member of the Film Actors Guild. They did away with actress and actor. That's gone now.
Oh, so there's only one best?
Yes. No, it's right. There's best, and it's actor. Actress is gone. It's actor. And they changed the name of the guild. They did change the name.
Okay, so just so I understand.
The SAG Awards are now the SAG Awards are now the Film Actors Awards, is what he's referring to.
Okay.
As an award show, which is coming up. That's why he's mentioning that. It is awkward. It is awkward.
But are they getting cut in half? So is there going to be?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so how do they delineate?
I'm sorry, we can't tell you. You're going to have to call back.
I'm asking you. You are my Hollywood expert. You're going to have to tell me. What the hell?
You've got the wrong number. You're going to have to call back. Melissa Gilbert's not here right now. The president of the guild will return your call after the court case in New Mexico.
Okay.
By the way, it's the same courtroom as the Alec Baldwin case.
Oh, yeah.
In Albuquerque, it's the same.
No, Santa Fe.
Santa Fe, right? It's the same courtroom.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that big of a city, dude.
I know. How we ended up there, I don't know, but
Santa Fe's kind of weird. I mean, it is the capital, but it's just not the. I guess it's
also
kind of
a blue state and a blue city, and yet they keep getting these crazy actor cases.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a parallel, and I was thinking maybe New York, because I mean, it's nowhere. The capital is nowhere near as big as New York City, it's so overwhelmed. Anyway, I don't know. Albuquerque's definitely larger than Santa Fe last time.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Well, a lot of Hollywood people have homes around Santa Fe.
Yeah, like Gene Hackman. How'd that work?
Gene Hackman is another one. Yeah, that estate is still being fought over.
I can imagine.
The state itself is claiming the estate. The state of New Mexico is claiming the Hackman estate.
Hey, it's a blue state. What do you want?
Right. No, they're going to fight to the death over his disenfranchised blood kin, who he disenfranchised or wrote out of the will. The state is saying, hey, that was your problem. You had a chance to deal with it. We're the state. He happened to die here. We're taking everything. So their fight is now New Mexico versus the Hackmans. It's like the Hatfields and McCoys. It's the Hatfields and McCoys.
I don't know who to cheer for, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like if his family was that bad that he disavowed them, but then I don't want the state to get it either. So I'm like, can we get a third party in there? And it's funny because of the timing of the deaths determined everything. Because if she had died first,
that's right,
it would have gone to charity. No, she did die first. Sorry, because she died first.
The money couldn't go to
him. Yeah, and he didn't have anything, so it just kind of hung out there. But if he died first, then it would have just gone to a charity, and there would have been no question. So very interesting scenario. All right, John Springer
is back.
He's back. Yes, great show, guys. But are we done with JFK? We are so close to cracking that case wide open.
Yeah, we're gonna crack the case tomorrow. I mean, look, I put out 7,000 videos, Springer. What do you want me to do, bro? When would it be enough with you, Springer? When is it enough? You tell me.
No, we're waiting for Anna Paulina Luna. She's on it.
Yeah, she's on the case, and she is going to have another hearing someday, and then we'll cover it with her hearings.
Yeah, and it'll be solved.
By the way, you may want to take a look at that Matt Crumpton video with Jim DiEugenio that he put up, where DiEugenio just rakes him over the coals for the entire video. It was hard to watch. And he's gone down some mob did it rabbit hole, and Jim DiEugenio was not happy with it. Take a look at that video when you get a chance.
So wait, DiEugenio raked Crumpton over the coals?
Oh yeah, for the entire video. Oh yeah.
That's his co-author.
I know. I'm just saying, and there's no daylight between me and Jim on any of the things he brings up between our two different people, our theories. But he has a lot of problems with Matt's video, Matt's work on this Mob Did It series that he's been working on. He just makes a mockery of him, and it's hard to watch. And Matt takes it. He accepts it because they're friends. Yeah, no, to his credit. But holy cow, does he destroy him.
Wow. All right. I guess Matt was hanging out with David Mamet too much. Gen X Craig. Netflix can see the viewer data drop out, so they have come up with these ideas to keep audience.
Very interesting. I never thought of
that makes Netflix is like YouTube.
Wow,
in many
very
ways.
Interesting, Craig. Very interesting. So, but they can't see you spacing out at home. I mean, they could see you turning it off, right?
No, they can see you everything. Because
they don't see you naked in your living room. You say that's not true.
No,
they see you. They're not seeing you personally.
Well, it depends. There's some TVs that are tracking eyes and shit.
Right.
But anyway,
But they're saying that they could track when you turn it off.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh
okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and they do. I mean, they try.
Right, no, I get that, but I'm saying, where do they get the idea to repeat the plot 3 or 4 times because you're on your phone? Are they tracking that you're on your phone doing something else?
That's very possible.
Well, that's scary. That's scary.
Well,
in other words, if you're watching Netflix on your TV,
sure,
you're on your phone doing some other cockamamie shit. Do they know that?
Sure. They could
but you're on your phone, not on Netflix. You're just on your phone.
Yeah, but you're using there's cookies, and so when you're hitting a site, you hit a site at this time. There's a cookie, and there's a cookie loaded, and they could be for a service, and they're tracking whatever your movement is. Oh, at this time, this date. Oh, holy shit!
Oh,
well, you pay for a subscription. You got to log in. So then, and
note to self: cancel Netflix tonight. Note to self.
Oh, cancel everything, dude. I mean, if you
cancel everything,
get your DVDs. Get your DVD player and sit in a room, and then
I did last night. That's what I did last night.
Wait, one problem. You need to be a Faraday box because your TV's tracking you.
Yeah,
make sure your TV is not connected to the internet any way, shape, or form. Right. Because have you wondered why TVs have gotten so cheap? How do they make TVs so cheap?
Because they're tracking devices. They're Soviet
because they sell you
tracking devices. I've got some non-smart TVs, Hunley.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I've got some backup non-smart ones. The cable guy looked and said, "Where'd you get that TV, bro?" He was in here the other day, the cable guy, and he goes, "It's not a smart TV." He was almost angry at me.
Good.
He wasn't happy.
And you're like, you never saw a tube TV before?
Well, it wasn't tube, but it wasn't smart.
All right. Let me see. Primus. Hold on. What do we have here? Wish Joe would have asked them if they still write thank you letters to Weinstein.
That's funny.
Okay.
Well, it's weird because at the end of the show, Matt Damon, and I found this hard to believe, said they were opposed to defunding the police and support the police. And all I had to do was go back to his incredible support of Howard Zinn, his incredible support of Noam Chomsky, his incredible support of every leftist progressive cause going back to the abolition of slavery. And yet, to justify them playing cops in this movie, The Rip, he had to go at his critics, who were his friends, who would probably hassle the shit out of them when they took this project on as a company. This is their own company, Ben and Matt. And he put out a statement that he's opposed to defunding the police and he supports police. And I went, well, there's a man bites dog story.
Oh, the cowardice. You're just discussing cowardice. Well, okay. Yeah. Keep in mind, and I'm going to say well, actually, they're both douchebags. But Affleck was the douchebag that actually made Sam Harris tolerable for 10 minutes on Bill Maher. I don't know if you remember all that.
Oh, yeah. I can't get it out of my brain.
When Sam Harris said about Islam being the mother load of bad ideas, Affleck attacked him for being a racist and everything else. And that was all on Bill Maher's show. And that actually was probably the start of this long trail of Bill Maher becoming, I'll just say less woke. I'm not going to call him right wing, but he's less woke.
No, unwoke.
Yeah, unwoke, but
unwoke.
But it all goes back to Ben Affleck. I think it was 2015.
Well, Matt Damon is even worse. I mean, Matt is the brains. He's the brawn, Ben Affleck. Matt's the brains of the two.
True, and Ben and his mother's a teacher, and he's a full socialist,
full-on socialist, a family friend of Howard Zinn, the guy who wrote the Communist Manifesto of American History, and Chomsky, and these other Harvard harlots up there in Cambridge. Yep. He's opposed to defunding the police. Really? A little late now, fuckface.
Today.
Until the movie is out of circulation,
and then he will be like, "Well,
it's so muddled that you can't understand what the plot of the fucking movie is." If they try to explain this one more time, why they're in this house and said the word "rip" any more times, I was going to throw up. I couldn't take it anymore. I don't know what the hell was going on with these cops. I didn't know if they were corrupt, if they were stealing the coke, there was the money. I didn't know what was going on. I just said, like, let's get it over with. Do whatever you're going to do here. I can't take it anymore. I could, and the person I was watching with said, all right, just turn it off. I go, no, I'm not turning it off. I get so crazy. I just want to say, I want to see how they get out of it, not plot-wise, just movie-wise, as a cinema thing. I want to see what the hell's going on here.
Well, I'm glad you're doing this, so I don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me see. JS said the new Star Trek captain needs a hairbrush and needs to learn to act like a captain. Or sit like a captain.
It's Holly Hunter, by the way, for people at home who don't know who it is. It is Holly Hunter.
Sad.
How she became Star Trek commander is of all the people, they go, no, they won't do it. Okay, who's next on the list? How about Holly Hunter? Okay, call her. Let's see if she'll do it.
Yeah, couldn't it at least be Jerry Ryan or something? She's good to look at. But anyway.
Holly Hunter is a little long in the command tooth.
Yeah, well, yeah. All right. Pam is here. Good to see you, Pam. Happy Tuesday, guys. Happy Tuesday, Pam. Thank you very much. We've got Diffuse Tractor Guy. Here we go. I've been trying to buy some memberships, but for whatever reason, it won't let me do so. So here's some coffee and or book money. Tractor Guy. Bigger. So YouTube screwing us on that. Thanks,
wow.
YouTube.
They're on a mission from God.
Well, thank you, Diffuse. Thank you, Tractor Guy. We do.
By the way, anybody following at home, tomorrow we're doing a deep dive on Mission from God on Dan Aykroyd on the What's Up with Lord Buckley continuing series on crazy comedians. So there's that to live for. Oh, fascinating Canadian. Another fascinating Canadian.
All right, and we've got Dustin here. I'm old school, but it's still all Nixon's fault.
That's funny.
Yeah. No kidding. Scott Bimbo. Oh, let's see if he's coming back again. YouTube wouldn't let me spell his name.
Whose name?
Swalwell.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I got you.
Still didn't get the rest of the message, but I did figure out that it was him.
A little disorienting. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured out that part, that it was him, but the rest was very confusing.
Right.
Let's see. Sean Alukin, who also does memberships quite often. Great show, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you, Sean, very much. And we're getting down there now. Oh, Edward McLaughlin's coming in hot. $50. Another great show.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Wow, that's very, very generous. No question. Al Gonzalez. Busfeld out on strict bail. The Film Actors Guild. Now there's an acronym.
Yeah, get it?
Yeah.
Thanks. That's funny.
I didn't think about it, but you are right.
What has he got? An ankle bracelet now? They
He's got to. He has to. I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, you got the threat of self-deletion, which is a real threat in these types of cases. I don't think he's going to flee to France, but it could be a place, to flee, away from the authority of the United States.
A lot of people in similar circumstances do
self-delete.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I'm not even saying it. I mean,
like literally the day of the trial.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's yeah.
Absolutely. I don't want to put my wife through this. I didn't do it. I'm innocent. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Well, we got some Rumble rants here. Teddy Ball Game said, Mark, you are in top form today. Loving the show.
Teddy Ball Game, one of the great hitters of all time. Of course, Ted Williams hit 401 for the Red Sox. His head still sitting in a cryogenic frozen state. I don't know if the family is still paying for that. At one point, there was some billing issue as to whether they would continue to pay for the head of Ted Williams to stay in that cryogenic state. I haven't been following the story for a number of years, but I remember a couple of years back, Teddy Ballgame's head, the bill was due, and I think it's a pretty exorbitant monthly bill to keep you in that frozen state. But again, he might know, the guy who made the donation just now.
Yeah, I don't remember what went down. And
remember this?
Yeah, it was a huge fight.
Right? Yeah,
it happened around the same time as Terry Schiavo for some reason. I don't know what in my mind I have them together, but
it must be very expensive to keep somebody frozen in a cryogenic state. I mean, the billing on that, the electricity, the whole thing must be enormous, Eric.
Yeah. Let me see. I'll go back to Scott H in a minute. King of Bilton, the Rumble rant. Hello, Eric, Mark, Viva, and Robert, and a lot of people know me. I normally drop rants on the channel for Bilton. Can I send you some? See if you like it, and perhaps we can set something up. Sure. I just sent you the info for the contact. You know, Mark, you do What's Up with Lord Buckley, so it can't be.
He knows Viva too pretty well. I mean, everything I learned about it came from Viva's actual kitchen. As I've told Anton, Viva is the one who turned me on to the drug itself. So I blame Viva as being an enabler.
Well, fair enough. And yeah, I mean, obviously we're interested. Okay, he did see the contact info. So yeah, let us know. Scott, I'm very disappointed with you. I want to see Lord Buckley on Lord Buckley. Well, Lord Buckley has been covered on this channel.
Yeah, there's one right here.
Yeah,
I already did it, bro.
Yeah, America's Untold Stories has Lord Buckley. We also have Rodney Dangerfield. We also have Morton Saul. There's a couple others. Anyway, but there's some to chew on. So definitely check that out. Now, at this point, we are at 2 hours in, and it's a great time. We're going to head over to Locals, where, again, you can become a member for free. Check it out. Look around. But you always can support us if you like it. And that will give you further access to 2 audio dramas, one on Oswald, which is over 10 hours. It's actually, I want to say 11 to 12 hours.
Really?
All told. Well, because of 5 hours, each one's, a few minutes over 2 hours, and it accumulates. So it is well over 10 hours. And there's also the LBJ audio drama that came out late last year. We also did the JFK Lancer presentation, which I think came out really well. Ironically, I think it actually might have been better than it was in person. But we got to see people in person.
Yeah, it sounds better than it did when we were doing it.
Yeah, with the clean, a lot of work was put into it. The clips are all very clean. The sound is great, etc. Definitely check that out.
They could join you're saying for like $300 a year.
No,
they could become, or $250 a year with your special. What? Okay, so what does it cost a year? Believe me, because there's some confusion whether it's $250 or $300 a year to join Locals to get all these free conspiratorial goodies.
70
what?
Dollars.
$70?
$70.
What kind of a deal is that? That's insane.
It's a good deal. It's called a good deal.
That's an insane. How are we going to make any money off of this? That's insane. That
we're not going to get rich off of it.
Cover my dinner.
Well, I mean, it might cover dinner for the whole year, but monthly, no. It might. It's not quite enough to get you coffee.
How much is it a month? Like $80 a month?
No. If you take 70 a year, that's going to wind up being about $5.70 a month, something like that.
A week, you're saying? $5 a week?
No, a month.
Oh boy, this is such a small amount of money. I'm embarrassed to be even affiliated with this. But you're saying for $70 for the entire year, they get all this stuff?
Yes, and it's dollars, U.S. dollars. It's not pounds.
Wow,
it's dollars.
Wow. This is far less than I imagined. I thought we were. I thought we were making a lot more money.
Yeah, no, it's dollars. It's not euros. It's not pounds. It's U.S. dollars. I mean, at the rate we're going, it'll be Canadian dollars. So I mean,
$70 for the whole year. You're saying.
Whole year, yes.
You're emphatic about this. This is not a misprint or a misspeaking or misinformation. You're saying $70 gets you the entire year. You don't have to be bothered ever again until next year.
Correct.
All right. I stand
and if
corrected.
it's a credit card, it'll just automatically renew. You never even have to think about it.
Right.
But yeah, $70
Amazing.
a year.
Wow.
And I appreciate it very much if you guys do support that. But if not, that's fine too. We will see you on Friday.
We're going over there now, you're saying?
Here. Yeah, we're going to locals right now.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right, let me go.
People are hanging out.
Goodbye. Let me get out of here.